You're listening to Mid Morning Matters on Marlow FM 97.5.
Belinda Carlisle and Circle in the Sand. That's a nice tune. So we've got Mike and Mark in the studio. You're listening to Marlow FM on 97.5. And if you want to contact us, it's studio@marlowfm.co.uk. The web address is marlowfm.co.uk. And we've been talking about just getting out there and moving, really. Not getting fit per se, but just moving. And the Marlow Radio Run is the 27th of May at 9:30. It's a Sunday. It's a 10k, and it's going to go out to Hurley along the river paths and so on and back. So if that's something that appeals to you, 10k for the uninitiated is 6.2 miles. And
About right.
About right. And you can enter by going to the website. So that's marlowfm.co.uk. So we've just been talking about what we can do to just generally move. So we've talked about walking, we've talked about gardening, we've talked about skipping, trampolining, hula hooping, just getting out there really with your kids. Cycling, yeah.
Yeah. It's a year old, I think almost today, that Marlow Striders, the running club, developed a new branch, the Marlow Riders, which is a cycling group. And that grew out of a trip to Paris to celebrate somebody's birthday, where a group of us, some of us who weren't cyclists at all, I was one of them, went to Paris to celebrate a friend's birthday, and it was a fabulous trip, and we spent a lot of time training before we went, and when we got back, we didn't want that to stop. So a group of friends, as many of us have become, a lot of us didn't know each other beforehand, and so that has now developed, and that's growing from strength to strength, and probably has about 50 members now.
There's a Penguin group at the Striders as well, isn't there?
Yes, that's for those of us that are falling apart a little and find running is now beyond us, and we walk instead.
But it does mean that if there's people out there who want some company to walk with and want that commitment that we were talking about on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Tuesdays and Thursday evenings, 7 o'clock.
And I mean, the weather's great for that now. The light nights are starting.
Yes, it's starting. They're getting out in the countryside again now.
Yeah, rather than...
But they carry on through the winter.
No, I know.
Still walking the streets of Marlow.
So where does the Marlow Striders meet?
The Marlow Striders meets at Marlow Sports Club, which is in Pound Lane. It's not the leisure centre.
No,
it's a little bit further along.
Down the lane, isn't it?
And it incorporates the cricket club, the hockey club, with its fantastic new AstroTurf pitch. There's a lot of changes going on down there, and it's growing and expanding and becoming, I think, a real focus for exercise and sport within the Marlow community. Marlow Sports Club, as a whole, has partnered with Borlase School, so there's a lot of youth and energy.
It's great,
coming into it. It's a place that's growing and going places.
I think one thing to stress, I think people get nervous about, but if I'm going to start running, I need to run a half marathon or I need to run a marathon.
Not at all.
Just get out there and just 10 minutes is better than no minutes. It's just doing. It's just getting out there and moving.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, I'm still running more than 20 years after I first joined Marlow Striders, which is when we first started. And I have an artificial hip, and I no longer do any of these half marathons or 10Ks even. I find that would probably damage what I've got left in terms of structure. And so but I still love running, and so I'll shuffle my way around now. So there are people as slow as me that you can run with if you fancy giving it a try. So it's not all about being super fast, super quick. It's getting out there, getting some exercise and enjoying it.
I think as well, for me, I had my weight loss journey and I now just enjoy being able to be active. But I've found I've had pockets of, being demotivated and I can't be so bothered with it at the minute. But the thing that always gets me through that is I think about how I'm going to feel after I've done some exercise. And I know it's going to be good. And that's what, swings it, because, if it's a rainy day or it's a cold day and you're not quite sort of up for it, once you start thinking in terms of how am I going to feel afterwards and it's going to be good, that's what pushes you over the line and that's what helps you then go out and do it.
Absolutely. I look forward to the beer that I'm going to have afterwards. I'll feel I've earned it.
I've just been Googling and I found a website. It's helpguide.org, and there's, if you go within that site and search, but they've got easy exercise tips and making exercise part of your everyday life. And we haven't got time to go through it all now because we've got less than 10 minutes to go. But it's got some great stuff on, and a lot of it's what we've already talked about. So moving more in your daily life, starting slowly, a little bit is better than nothing. Making it fun. We talked about making it fun, staying motivated. So lots of good stuff on there. So that's helpguide.org. And it's, they're not talking about running marathons and cycling London to Paris. They're talking about just making it part of your life, which is really what we've been covering this morning. So on that note, I'm going to play a really happy tune that hopefully will get you dancing around the kitchen, because dancing around the kitchen or the workplace is better than doing nothing. I Got a Feeling by the Black Eyed Peas, and I'm fading that out early because we haven't got long to go, and I just want to finish off with I Don't Feel Like Dancing, because we've been talking about exercise and talking about just moving really, and we're saying dancing around the kitchen. Dancing full stop is great. So I just want to say thank you to Mike for coming in to talk to us today.
Thank you for inviting me on.
Oh, you're more than welcome. And thank you to Mark for being my co-host today.
My pleasure. I've had some fun this morning.
And I even let him use the desk for half an hour. It was a very stressful moment.
I tell you, I'll be back. I know how to work it all now.
Do you?
Oh, yes.
Really?
Oh, yes.
Excellent. Well, we're not going to get the whole track in, but I reckon it's worth it for a few minutes in the run-up to the news. So thank you for listening. You're listening to Marlow FM. Tim's coming up after the news. I didn't think he was going to show up. I was panicking, but he's here. So that's good. And it's I Don't Feel Like Dancing by the Scissor Sisters. What a great tune to finish. Just need the sunshine to come out.
Bye.